Good morning, everybody. I am Cheryl Johnson Watts, Project Director for the Pennsylvania Charter Schools Program. And this is our next installment of the PACSP Grant Virtual Summit. We are thrilled to be able to present all of the schools who are doing tremendous work throughout the state of Pennsylvania. When we hold these virtual summits, sometimes it's on specific topics, and other times it is to showcase our schools. This is one of those instances where we showcase one of our schools. It is so important for a school to see other schools showcased because even if the school doesn't follow that particular school's model or serve that particular school's audience, what we do find is that when you expose yourself as a school leader to what people are doing in other schools and in other circumstances, that there are certain key principles that may ring loud and true in terms of leadership, in terms of service, in terms of community building. This is one of those instances where your school may not be a similar model to this one, but your school will hear the story of inspiration of leaders who decided to make a difference and came up with a plan and against all odds decided to move forward. And that is the key, moving forward. As a project director, I can give total testimony to this school's resilience and ability to withstand all challenges and find a way to navigate through. So without further ado, I'm going to let each individual introduce themselves as they present, and I am going to be quiet from this time forward after saying, welcome, Life Male STEAM Academy and Dr. Darrell T. Kennedy and Reverend Talita Kennedy, co-founders.
Good morning to everyone. And I want to first and foremost thank Cheryl for the opportunity to be able to greet all of you this morning and share just a little bit about our journey to date about the Life Mill STEAM Academy. Want to thank Charmaine as always for all of the communications and keeping us straight and just to say I appreciate all the work that you all have done and extending the grace that you always do to the Life Mill STEAM Academy. So I want to start with just giving a little context about Life Mill STEAM Academy and how it all got started. In 2014, my husband came to me and said, God has called me to start a school. And me being a former educator, that resonated immediately with me because I have seen the disparities of African American males in the public school system. And so this was, again, something that immediately resonated with me. And because of my experiences as a middle school teacher, as well as a high school school counselor. Back in 2021, a group of educators in the Maryland School District conducted a study. And from that study, this is a quote from the report that they made at the conclusion of their study. The underperformance of Black boys and young men is not a recent phenomenon. The overwhelming national, state, and local data regarding the underachievement of Black boys is a historical concern and requires intentional and unapologetic action. And so we felt that this was a not just a divine calling, but we were duty bound. This school that we were um, beginning to conceptualize was not for our children. Our children are um, grown and on their own, and thank God for that, and they're doing well. And so this was for all of the children that we know are coming behind them. One of the researchers, um, a famous researcher of education, the education of boys of color, Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, who recently passed away, committed his entire career to researching just that, the miseducation of African American boys. And in his research, this is what he found: 12% of eighth graders are only 12% of eighth graders are proficient in reading. Only 29% are retained. 80% of Black, Hispanic students in special education are male. 80%. 24% are suspended. 25 to 53% drop out. And 52% of male inmates are Black or Hispanic. And so we are duty bound to be intentional about the education of boys of color. And thus, our mission, our mission is to prepare all male scholars for college success and career readiness. We also serve as a catalyst to increase the presence of African American males in the STEM pipeline, because we know, again, from experience, that African American males are at the bottom of just about every academic stat. Our vision is overarching, and it focuses on nurturing the intellectual capacity of all students through project and inquiry-based science, technology, engineering, arts, and math education. And we're going to explain in just in about a few seconds, what's the big deal about STEAM education. This academic framework was selected because of its proven effectiveness in preparing students to compete globally in the 21st century job force. And so in 2015, we began conceptualizing this idea of an all boys academy. And it's one thing to have this idea of, okay, this grand idea, you're going to start this school, but where do you even begin? And so we began by approaching funders to help guide us, not only provide monies, but to guide us in the process of building a groundwork for building the school. And so we approached Heinz Endowments and Eden Hall, and they gave us a combined grant of $50,000. But one of their requirements was that, no, we're not giving you this to just, we're giving you this to simply travel across the country to research best practices in the schools and the type of school that you want to open, you want to build. And so we were asked to travel across the country and observe these schools. And we did just that. We attended Urban Prep Charter Academy in Chicago, Drew Charter School in Atlanta, Eagle Academy for young men for young men in Harlem. We attended St. Benedict's Prep School, all-male school in Newark, New Jersey, and Century Academy for Excellence in Inglewood, California, and City Arts and Technical School in San Francisco. And of course, we couldn't ignore those schools right here in our backyard. South Fayette School, and the Kiski School, which is where our son attended. And so this is Dr. Kennedy at the Westchester Enriched Sciences STEAM Magnet School in Los Angeles. Taking a pic there. And so what is the big deal about the, I'm sorry, I'm having a slight technical difficulty here. Excuse me. There we go. What's the big deal about STEAM? And we were asked that, well, why do you guys keep talking about this STEAM? One of the schools that we visited when we were making our trek across the country was Charles Drew High School in Atlanta. And this is when we were so impressed with this idea of a collaborative approach to student learning, and so this is where it came to life for us as we walked through their halls, and it wasn't the teachers talking to us about instruction and what the students were learning. The students were talking to us about what they were learning. One of them being as little, it was a kindergartner, this beautiful little girl. She was in kindergarten. She, after being prompted by her teacher, explained to us what they were learning and what the project was that they were learning about. And so what our takeaway from this was that the STEAM framework is so important because students have some choice and voice in making decisions about the project and what they create. Students engage in an extended process of asking questions, finding resources, and applying information. So the teacher is more of a guide, and they are there as a resource. And so those students are actually they are responsible for when they when coming up with the questions, the whys, finding the sources. Where do I get the resources from? And then students and the teacher have opportunities to reflect on learning. Students with the STEAM framework are also give and receive feedback to improve their process and products. One of the things that we learned was that if a student runs into a problem, it is not necessarily a problem, but that is a part of the learning process. Well, why didn't it work after being, and that prompting comes from the teacher. And so this is why this is the big deal about project-based learning. And so when we returned from our travels, that was when the real work started. We got busy assembling a team of seasoned educators, including school teachers, curriculum consultants, retired principals, a community college president, college professors, and we all got together around literally around the conference room table, and to work on developing a STEAM curriculum for L.I.F.E Mill STEAM Academy, which served as the foundation for the development of the charter school application that we submitted to Woodland Hills School Board, which was approved on the first go round. And we were told that that would never happen. We'd have to go back, we'd have to get signatures, and it was approved the first time, which we just know it's just by the grace of God. And so in addition to our work that we were doing with this group that we were of seasoned educators we were working with, we also began to cast the vision in the city. People never heard of L.I.F.E Mill STEAM Academy, so we had to get the word out of there. We were beating the pavement, going to every community event, just my husband and I, out there setting up tables and just handing out information, pulling, yelling at people saying, stop, come and listen and hear about the school. And one of the most impactful things that we did, we partnered with a young man and offered a program titled Drafting Dreams. It was funded by the Sprout Foundation. We offered a program the summer of 2016 in where the boys learn methods of drafting and architectural modeling. Um, and the culminating project was to create a physical model of their business park and what that business park would look like and the offices. Um, I would have to say that the STEAM Saturdays was probably the most significant thing we did in terms of casting our vision. Um, we partnered with the Carnegie Science Center from September of 2017 to May of 2018. We ran this program 2 Saturdays a month for an entire school year. And again, we were like, okay, are these kids going to come 2 Saturdays a month, every month for an entire school year? And yes, they did. Um, and the participants engaged in creative design to solve challenges using 3D printers, laser cutters, and software robotics and scanners. And again, this is where we really got to see the instructor, the teacher, as a um, as a resource, as opposed to at a chalkboard, putting a chalk to board, or and so this was a very impactful program. And so then comes the big day. We finally were ready to open the school. We thought it would be in the fall of 2020. But then, as our luck would have it, COVID hit and we had to delay the start of the school until the fall of 2021. We opened our doors September 8th with approximately 51 scholars. And you're going to hear later, Dr. Candy's going to talk to you a little bit about why we call them scholars. And but we opened with just 6th and 7th grade. We now have approximately 100 scholars, and we have 6th through 9th grades, and we're going to add 10th grade next year. And so I am going to stop sharing so that Mr. Bivens can now continue on and with his presentation, with his portion. Any questions while Mr. Bivens is getting his PowerPoint loaded up? Because I shared a very specific part of the presentation.
Talita, were there the people that attended the Carnegie Science Center Saturdays, were they the age group that would enroll in your school, or was it just to get the word out?
It really was just to get the word out. A lot of the students who participated in the program, unfortunately, were not going to be able to attend because they weren't going to be too old.
Right. And
Started.
you did that before the pandemic and then had to delay the start, right? So
Yes.
they would have been too old. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Rachel.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Want to make
Good
sure.
morning.
Great, great. So Mrs. Kennedy did a large part of what I was going to present, and I'm not going to do that and repeat too much more of what she had already has shared with you. But I remember when we did this the first time, and I wanted to stress the sharing that a lot of charter schools should do, and what we were trying to do with, and what we are doing now. And I believe there are some great things going on at charter schools. Um, so we have some great things going on. We can talk to you a lot about the great science teachers that we have, the great math teachers that we have. We can talk about how we are working with our special ed population to try to increase and also try to get them out of special ed. It is not our job to keep a student who is in special education in special education, and what were we doing? And one of the things that I'll share with you, one of the things that we did do, and that is we hired a reading specialist. And our reading specialist, a lot of kids are put into special ed because of their reading. They're 2 or 3 or even more grades below in reading, and that what really prompts for them to be put into special education. That has been my share of knowledge as far as analyzing some of the data when I was with other school districts, and even now, the reason they're in there is because of reading, and it may be precipitated with also behavior. So students are put in there because of behavior. Why are you misbehaving? Because you're not able to keep up with the work. So what we did was we hired a reading specialist. And a reading specialist, she did such a phenomenal job with our students, moving students more than a year, more than not all students, but there were students where she had moved more than a year, more than 2 years, more than 3 years. She was even able to move some students, a few students more than 4 years. So those, after seeing what she was doing, um, it was our move to also see which one of these students should not be in the special ed. We didn't want to rush anyone out of special education, but we definitely didn't want to keep anyone in who no longer needed to be there. And we wanted to make sure that they were also continuing with our reading specialists. So one of the another thing that we talked about again was working with partners. One of the partners that we work with is Commonwealth Charter Academy. I absolutely love working with Charter Academy, and one of the things that we do with them is that we are able to take some courses with them. Our students were able to take courses with them that maybe we weren't able to offer because, as you all know, trying to get someone hired during the summer is an exercise in futility sometimes that we all do. But we found out that working with Commonwealth Charter Academy, yes, we needed a math class. Yes, we may need a science class. And maybe I didn't want to hire a full-time teacher for that, but I was able to just do the class with Commonwealth Charter Academy. So why would I want to do that? Well, the reason I want to do that is that we were able to save money. We didn't have to hire a full-time person to do that. We were able to just work with Commonwealth Charter Academy to offer just that math class, just that reading class, and what they all and maybe we also offered a class, some elective classes that we didn't have to hire a body. But then, what is it that we do for Commonwealth Charter Academy? Well, they have a job um, survey that they do, and they needed a lot of our students. And so we offer a lot of things to them as far as being able to join them as far as their job on SLAY. And we also work with them is if there are some students who are unable to play sports that live within our catchment area. And we don't offer a lot of sports at the moment, but we offer that their students could also join us, especially if they're within our catchment area. Um, Another school that we work with is CMU. CMU is a godsend to us as well because we work with them. They do tutoring, and you said, well, there's a lot of agencies out there that do tutoring, but with Carnegie Mellon University, we have a personal tutor where each student on Wednesdays, whatever math concern that they have, that tutor works with them on that. That is outstanding. That is not like going to Khan Academy and saying, they'll work through you through this. Well, we can work with Khan Academy, but we'll have a tutor, a one-on-one tutor who will work through that problem with the student. And that through that partnership, that tutoring process with them, we've also been allowed to go to campus, and many things that they have on campus, they actually invite us to. And also with that relationship, we were able to also join to work with Google because we began our relationship with Carnegie Mellon University. We also have a relationship with Indiana University. They're actually within our plan, and we do a lot of things together through professional development. We also work with Grand Canyon University. They offer a slew of classes through professional development as well. But I just want to stress, as I did before, is when the charter schools, we are stronger when we work together. When we say that we're not going to share with another charter school, we're only making ourselves weaker and maybe losing a partner that was making us stronger. So I do want to stress with a lot of us working stronger together. So there are some strong things that we're able to do together. And if you can, you don't have to share with us, but maybe there's a charter school within an area that you can work with to help to make them stronger as well. So we're not saying the only way you can be stronger is to work with Life Male STEAM Academy. I am saying we need to work stronger together. So we believe the adage "it takes a village to raise a child." Life Male STEAM Academy is surrounded by a village of high quality educators, corporate professionals, and community leaders. Since its inception in 2005, 2015, Life Male STEAM Academy model has been shaped through a collaboration, which I just went through. And I just want to stress there are many more collaborations that we have. I just wanted to cite those few. So now I don't want to bore you and go through the other 15 or 20 that we work with. The Life Male STEAM Academy includes a full service community school model in the spirit of community schools. Life Male STEAM Academy has spent the last several years developing community partnerships with agencies like the YMCA, local universities, health, and social providers as well, social service providers. But what we also want to stress is trying not to have a frenemy relationship with Woodland Hills School District. We want to have a partnership with them. They are the people who we have to have our charter reviewed all the time, and so we always want to have a good relationship with them. And sometimes is not as easy as we want it to be, but you have to make an effort to keep a friendship, not a frenemy, but a friendship with the district that you're working with. The memorandum of understanding into the charter is granted through the district in creation of charter schools, and together the terms of the charter will be govern the relationship between the district and the charter school. You guys all know that. I'm not going to finish reading that. The district charter school expresses a mutual intent to collaborate on such matters on both parties, each at their discretion, and have determined would benefit their respective educational operation. We've applied for a grant for computers, and the grant said, you have 100 something students at your school. We need some others. Your grant has to be bigger. So we made it bigger, and we included um, Woodland Hills School District, working in partnership with them. We informed them that we were going to include them on the grant, and if and when the grant is that we're successful with it, we will share the grant with them. And most of it will go to them because it's computers that we're asking for Verizon to give to us. And I'm not going to bore you with too much more of what I have to present. But our top local village partners also are CVS, the Ginn Group, PNC, Dollar Bank, the Heinz Endowment, the Eaton Hall Foundation, PPG, the Jesus is Lord Fund, and the Smithsonian Institute. We actually adopted their science curriculum. Yes, the Smithsonian has a science curriculum. You guys really should look into it. It is what all of our our middle school has. It's not our high school, but it 100% is our middle school curriculum. So now I am going to I am going to present to you our Dean of School, Mr. Malcolm Thomas, who will go into some depth with you about the culture of the school. If you have any questions for me while Mr. Thomas is preparing to take over the sharing portion, please do so. Mr. Thomas, you can now begin sharing. Can't hear you, Mr. Thomas. You're on mute. You're still on mute, sir. I'm looking at your screen. I see it on mute.
Can you hear me now?
I can, sir.
Okay, great. All right, let me pull my slides up. Hey, everybody, how's everybody doing? Okay, good. Thank you, Mr. Bivens, for that presentation. What I'm going to do is attempt to dovetail my presentation so that it reflects some of what was omitted, reinforces some of what was already said, and maybe adds a couple other things as well. Can everyone see that? I can't see you all, so anybody with audio, can everybody see that?
Yes, I can see it.
Cool. All right. So this is called An Intro to the Ways of Life. I'm going to try to do the shorter, truncated version of this, but part of what I am charged with doing at the school is to help to support culture, and that is school culture and the cultivation of the students. As a dean, my role obviously is to enforce the code of conduct and to support appropriate dispositions and behavior that lead to student academic success and life success. But we believe that to enforce those things is to be reactive. We want to teach those things, and we want to model those things, and to be explicit and intentional about cultivating those things for our students here. So discipline really is a teaching role from the LMSA perspective. Our mascot is the Kings. And so what we start with is some of the elements of culture that we need to have in a school. So we have to envision, what do we want a life scholar to look like upon exiting our program and entering into the quote unquote real world, or even entering the post-secondary environment. So part of what we do is look at all the various dispositions, competencies, the skills, the practices, the dispositions, and ultimately an identity. What we believe is that in order to truly cultivate high-performing, highly successful, well-rounded young men, we are really cultivating an identity they need to embrace. And of course, that identity, if we go back down, is certain attitudes or dispositions. Those are values and philosophies that we try to inculcate, certain practices that are habitual. That's important, because for things to really make an impact on your life, they need to be things that you're doing unconsciously and repetitively. And then, of course, proficiencies need to be hard skills as well. Our 7 core tenets of the school, or pillars around which we organize our school, are our wells of life. And these are adapted from Pastor Kennedy, and we have added 2 others, but they are well-read, traveled, spoken, dressed, balanced, connected, and led. So being well-read means there's a foundation of literacy and an emphasis on reading. We believe that leaders are readers. Mr. Bivens talked about some of our reading scores. Specifically, 68% of our boys moved ahead 2 years in 1 year last year in reading. Another 17% moved ahead 3 years in 1 year. And 5% of our boys, believe it or not, moved ahead at least 4 years in reading in 1 year, which we thought was phenomenal. Well traveled means that we start our college tours for our students in 7th grade. So our college visits start for our middle schoolers when they're in 7th grade, our out-of-town trips for our 8th graders, and then we also have immersive experiences that we believe are the essence of a holistic education. So, I like to, community-based, what I call experiential learning, or learning without walls, we believe is a major portion of the learning experiences for students, and we do that here at L.I.F.E. We've taken no less than 40 college trips for our students here, some of which have been out of town and HBCUs as well. Well-spoken, we try to develop verbal skills for our students because we believe that is a gateway for being able to access certain networks and relationships are cultivated through communication. And we have a debate team, a drama program. And I know for me, that was one of the things that I had to work on very, very hard in my life because it was a glaring weakness for me. Well-dressed. At our school, we have a business casual professional dress on Mondays. And we believe that higher standards of dress contribute to higher standards of performance and the identity that we are trying to cultivate at our school. Well-balanced. We want them to have healthy minds connected to healthy bodies. We have a wellness center in our school. We are the first charter school in the United States of America that has a full whole health center, which Mr. Compliment will be able to speak to shortly. We also have a mindfulness room and engage in therapeutic support for our students, as well as a learning exceptionalities department, which is well-staffed and supports our students holistically. We believe that a big part of education is dealing with the whole child and not just with the intellectual side of an individual. So we also provide snacks, nourishment, and do a number of things to ensure that wellness is a priority before education even begins. Well-connected, we believe in collaborative learning. So we have introduced a project-based model at our school, and we have an inclusive environment, which I'll talk about, where we have a house system at our school where multiple stakeholders and supports are able to impact and engage students and staff at our school. And of course, well-led, we have multi-tiered leadership. All of our staff have mentors. All of our students have a staff mentor. We have external mentors and programs and partners that come in to support our students. And we believe that the staff must always be modeling and explicitly teaching their expectations. Our 5 core virtues of the school we'll talk about. But the first thing I want to say is they support the mission of helping our students to get into post-secondary success and to enter the STEAM pipeline, the STEM pipeline specifically. And those virtues are kindness, integrity, nobility, growth, and self-awareness. Of course, they spell KINGS, they're an acronym. So these are the 5 major virtues around which we try to organize all of our PBIS and student behaviors in our school. And you can see those here on one of our classroom charts. There are high leverage behaviors for our students. And we do these in 10 areas. Our house system reflects these virtues. So all of our staff and all of our students are sorted into a house. They spin. If you've ever seen the Ron Clark School in Atlanta, we spin them in. We say you either choose the house you want or you get the house that you need. All of our students have to spin into a house, and those houses are kindness, integrity, nobility, growth, and self-awareness. But we did a little cultural spin on it, and we gave them all names of African nations. So Obioma, Aminsi, Tukufu, Ukukula, like Coca-Cola, and Itaniji are the names of those virtues in the various nations of Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, and Benin. We have the language of origin. All of them have superpowers. For instance, I'm a part of that gold house, which is nobility, and our superpower is leading by example, high standards. Kindness is uplifting others, goodwill, brotherhood. Integrity is being true to oneself, and consistency, particularly when no one is watching. Growth, we believe that the harder you work, the faster you grow. And Itaniji, which is self-awareness, is mindfulness, restraint, and understanding that you are a cause in motion. Things are not just happening to you. And ultimately, we are building, once again, identity for our students. Each of these has a crest, and those are some of the staff that are in each of those houses. All students from grades 9 through 6 are sorted into a house, which gives them a sense of belonging, inclusion, and multi-grade interaction. We developed an Accelerated Learning and Leadership Institute, which is called Ally, which means that we want to have for some of our students and parents seeking higher rigor, students who had a 3.0 or higher and demonstrated a desire for increased rigor. We have a project-based model. They use our fabrication lab and all of our teachers rotate to give them some more exciting and challenging work, all these students have to maintain the code of conduct, and they have to go through panel interviews and have 2 recommendations from teachers to be in this program. And this is a picture of some of our students here from Ally, and I have a picture in the back, the Apeti Sut Temple, which is one of the oldest university complexes in the world in Africa, which was a site for international learning, which we espouse as part of our school and aspire to be as a learning institution. Pastor Kennedy mentioned Kiski Prep, and so did Mr. Bivens. It's noteworthy that Kiski, when I was doing diversity, equity, and inclusion training there, had 20 different nations of students in that audience that day. And we want to be a school which has a global impact because those students move from different countries to go to Kiski, and we aspire to be a first choice school as well. Here's a group of our ally students with Pastor Kennedy. And this is our affirmation of life. It's a simple statement that helps to make us aware and emphasizes the importance of life. As long as we are living, there's an infinite potential in what we can achieve, be, do, and we believe that all of our boys represent that potential, and if treated as such, they can become things that we would never imagine. We say this at our community gatherings, and this is something we do to affirm life in our school, which is we talk life, we walk life, we seek life, we speak life. Who are we? We are life. Call and response. We serve life, we respect life, to preserve life and protect life. Who are we? We are life. We love life, we live life. So we shine bright and we give life. Living intelligently, fulfilling expectations. We say, who are we? They say, we are life. We say, who are we scholars? They say, we are life. We say, who are we leaders? They say, we are life. And we say, what time is it? And the response is lifetime. So that is our presentation. Any questions for me?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Rachel, please.
Hey, Rachel.
Hi. It's nice to hear about all of the things that you're doing. So thank you for sharing. I am pretty impressed by the amount of college tours you guys have done in the last few years. That is quite impressive. So we've started doing that a little bit, and I'm interested more in that. So maybe I'll send you an email about how you've been able to pull off that many in just a few years.
Yeah, we work hard at that. They take them very frequently. So
yeah, I love the houses too. We have our own version, a little more Harry Potter style than cultural connections, but still, it definitely builds collaboration and belonging. So thank you for sharing.
That was the inspiration was the Harry Potter. Yeah, but we put a couple twists on it.
Yeah, well, it's great. It seems fitting for your program. Seems awesome.
Thank you. We're trying to continue to get better. Thank you.
If there aren't any questions, there is a video of 2 students. I was wondering if you'd be so kind to share with us. Is the audio up?
I cannot hear him speaking.
Yeah, he's not. The audio is not coming through.
Make sure you're.
We might have to rewind that one. I can't hear any of the audio on these guys.
Yeah.
You might also have to go into your share settings and ensure that you put on share sound.
Okay. Hello, my name is Aiden Johnson. I'm in the 9th grade, and I've been to L.I.F.E for about 2 years now.
Now we can hear, but we can't see it.
If you can just share the video.
help young Black boys succeed in life, give us the support that we need, because not all of us have the support at home. And I feel like it's a great opportunity for a young scholar. Hello, my name is Aiden Johnson. I'm in the ninth grade, and I've been to L.I.F.E for about 2 years now. And what I like about L.I.F.E is the mission, the goal to help young Black boys succeed in life, give us the support that we need, because not all of us have the support at home. And I feel like it's a great opportunity for young scholars going into college to grow and expand and get the knowledge that they need.
Hello, my name is Jerome Holmes. I am the president of L.I.F.E STEAM Academy. I've enjoyed my time going here. I've been here for about 4 years, and I can say I have no issues. And in fact, I would say it's a blessing to be here today. It is a place where we can come to learn and also achieve a new type of greatness in Black culture and for Black pride. And I think that more people should come to the school and truly experience the experience that is L.I.F.E STEAM Academy. Thank you.
Come experience life. We are currently registering 6th through 10th grade male scholars. Go to lifesteve.org to register now.
Awesome. Well, this has really been a great opportunity to learn more about L.I.F.E STEAM Academy and living life in general. And when we distribute this recording, we'll also distribute a link to a YouTube presentation made by a parent about his personal experience sending his child to L.I.F.E STEAM Academy. Are there any other questions in the 4 minutes remaining?
Do you only accept students of color, and are you allowed to be selective in your enrollment?
Mr. Thomas, you want to answer
Yeah,
that?
we
Any one of
absolutely-
us could. Go
We
ahead.
absolutely do not only accept students of color.
That's
As a
right.
matter of fact, our number one referral student is a white student that goes to our school. He's referred more students to the school than anyone else, which we thought was kind of cool.
Hmm.
So no, we do not accept only students of color. We do have white students at our school, and one of our staff actually brought his son to the school to go to this school. He took him out of his other school and brought him here. He's from the Jewish community, and he brought him over to this school and thought it would be a better placement for him. So we were excited about that, and we definitely open our doors to everyone.
Thanks.
Cheryl, if we have just Mr. Compliment, can you come on the screen, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we give Mr. Compliment just if you can just maybe Mr. Compliment in 60 seconds, or talk about because the Smart Center is such an important component.
Oh, well, thank you, Reverend Kennedy. I will make it quick. So the clinic is in the school. It's open to all students. It's open to all faculty and to their families. And we have a dual group here. Mr. Lee, who is also a registered nurse, and myself, my background is a nurse practitioner. We function more as an urgent care. We can do everything an urgent care can do except x-rays. Yes. We don't have x-ray capability. We have, unfortunately and fortunately, stabilized fractures, closed lacerations, treated infections. And we do this with the support of the families. We reach out to the families and ask them, would you like us to provide this care to your child, or do you want to take them to a nearby facility? And I have to say 99.9% of the time, all families have been fine with us providing the care. So I'll just give it in a nutshell. We want to get to know the students, and we just don't wait for them to come in. We do every student receives a physical, every student receives a scoliosis assessment and a visual assessment. And once a year, we have a visual team and a dental team come in and provide care, no cost to the students. We do a I guess, a health or a psychological assessment. We want to see where the students are. Do they have some food insecurities? Is anybody bullying them? Is there anything going on in their lives that is troublesome? And we look for different signs. We've had students who've come in. I've noticed sort of trends where, okay, the last couple of weeks, they've been coming in a couple times a week for a headache or a couple times a week for a stomach ache. And as we've gotten to know them and talked to them and reached out to the families, we have found things such as a family member has a illness or there's something going on. The parents have split. So they kind of show, not necessarily verbally, but maybe show in their health with symptoms of a headache. And we kind of tried to intervene. We work very closely with the social worker and student support staff here, Ms. Jones, to get the students to see them and be evaluated.
Okay.
So any questions? I know that was very quick, but any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Compliment. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Well, that concludes our time today in the virtual summit. Please keep an eye out for the emails that we discussed earlier. And once again, thank you to the Kennedys and the team at L.I.F.E Male STEAM Academy for the work that you're doing, the impact that you're having on your students, scholars, the families, the community as a whole. And we look forward to hearing more great news in the years ahead. Thank you. And that concludes our day, our session. Take care. Bye-bye.